Hello everyone! It's the first day of our hike around the Grand Jean Loop in the Sawtooth Wilderness of Central Idaho. We just hiked up around 3,000 feet from the valley down there through an old burn scar, and we set up camp down there by the lake. Our goal on this trip is to collect biodiversity data on the plant species living up here. Recording the locations of the plants growing in these mountains will someday help answer questions about historical plant distributions as these plants migrate in response to climate change. We've got just a little bit of light left, so let's go see what we can find. So my first memory of interacting with plants in the wild is of my dad taking me to go see the incredibly rare golden paintbrush, Castanea levisecta, in the coastal prairies on Whidbey Island. And since then, I've always had a special fondness for paintbrushes, plants in the genus Castanea. And they're called paintbrushes because they're, because they look like a paintbrush, and they come in such a wide range of colors. Just when I think I've seen every possible shade of paintbrush out there, I find a new one. And for me, this vibrant orange color is totally different from anything I've ever seen before. I'm up on top of Observation Peak right now in the Sawtooth Wilderness in south central Idaho at about 9,000 feet elevation. This morning we started down at that lake right there. I can see where we camped, and we came up here to check out some of the cool vegetation in the rocky granite crags. This whole peak is just covered in shrubby penstemon fruticosa, which is one of my favorite plants. It's super common, but just always such a treat to see something this spectacular up in the high alpine. And this one just grows in the most amazing places. And surprisingly, there's still some trees hanging on up here. There's some whitebark pines over there. There's some subalpine fir, Abies elasiocarpa, kind of your perfect little Christmas tree. They smell super interesting. I think they kind of smell like French fries, but I've never found anyone to agree with me. There's a lot of alpine sorrel up here, which looks a lot like rhubarb because it's in the same family, the Polyginaceae, or the knotweed family. And then there's all kinds of little tiny plants growing in the rocks here, which I'm super excited about. I don't really recognize most of them, so I can't wait to see them out. I'm really excited about this Cymopterus here. This is in the carrot family, the Apiaceae. And I think these things just have the coolest leaves and the coolest little seeds. And they smell crazy. It's like this sharp, lemony carrot smell. It's really, really interesting. What else we got up here? This is the much more common color you see for the paintbrushes, the Castaleas. Pretty different from that orange one we saw yesterday. Just some little mat-forming asters. Most of this vegetation is pretty unfamiliar to me, so I'm excited to stay up here and identify some of it. I'm gonna stay up here until we start to feel the thin air. There's this little guy. Well, we just made it to Sawtooth Lake. This is our destination for our second night. We're gonna find a place to camp down there somewhere, and then look for some more plants. Well, we were gonna camp down there by the lake, but there's a festering elk corpse on the shore, which is rendering all of the sites down there uninhabitable. But that's okay, because I think the plants up here are more interesting anyways. To start, there is the cutest little Eriogonum I think I've ever seen in my life. This is a wild buckwheat in the Polygonaceae family. And I'll show you how small this thing is. I think it might be Eriogonum cespitosum. Cespitose means low to the ground, mat forming or cushion-like. But I'm definitely going to have to double check on that because it's a super diverse genus in this area. And then over here, we just have one of the coolest little rock gardens I've ever seen. Of all sorts of other cespitose plants. And it's mostly Petrophytum cespitosum, which means rock plant that is low to the ground and cushion forming. This one's in the Rosaceae family. And I've been waiting all season for it to bloom, but it looks like we're not quite there yet. It's so cool how the plants intermingle and form these natural rock gardens. Up here we've got this big patch of Ivessia sticking out, also in the rose family. And then some sedums in the Crassulaceae, like succulents like you might find in your garden at home. And then there's this super cool draba over here in the Brassicaceae family. This one is really cespitose. And I'm definitely going to have to take a look at this. The drabas are often overlooked because of their diminutive size and difficulty of identification, but they're really cool. And you can tell that it's a draba from these kind of characteristic silicole seed pods here. We also have this big clump of Saxifraga bronchialis, which has these really cool basal rosettes of leaves. Kind of spiny ciliate on the margins. And the Saxifragas are known as the rock breakers because the way they grow out of these cracks in the rock, it looks like they're splitting them apart. Anyways, it's not quite in bloom, but I do have some pictures of this fairly common species that I could throw up. So continuing our cespitose tour on the other side of the hill here, I found the saxifrage in full bloom, and it's being pollinated or just investigated by one of the strangest wasps I've ever seen in my life. It almost has a mosquito-like abdomen with those white stripes. Come on. Come back on the flower. Oh yeah, check that out. And, oh no. And those, oh, there she goes. Yeah, these have gorgeous little flowers, easy to overlook. But if you look really close at them, they're super intricate. Let's see. Oh yeah, so here's the flowers on the sedum. These are pretty spectacular. Hard to overlook these ones. Bam. These are cool. Might be sedum lanceolatum or something like that. I don't know those too well. Over here, we've got my favorite Erigeron of all time. Erigeron compositus. Also, super cespitose. Look, it's just growing out of that crack in the rock there. This one's super easy to identify by its alpine habit and its lobed, dissected leaves. Really, really adorable. It doesn't look like there's any in bloom around here, though. We got some kind of Caryophyllaceae, Someday I'll learn what these are all called, like a arenaria or sagina or something like that. Anything else cool? Oh, I'm getting whiffs of the elk from over here. I don't know if you can see this in the video. It's let's see. Oh yeah, there it is right there. Ooh. Super disgusting. It has been such a fun backpacking trip, and we've seen so many cool plants. We're finishing the Grand Jean Loop today. We have an easy 9-mile hike through a nice shady valley. The forest is just starting to transition from subalpine fir back into lodgepole pine. And it's been a blast, and I can't wait to see you all next time.